Hey, motorcycle and power sports news fans, welcome to a brand new series called Chic Shifts. I'm Randy Lozier, publisher of MPN, and I'm joined by our host, Sean Rucker of SportSbike Chic. Sean, congratulations. You got a great line. You got an even better story, and that's what we're going to focus on a little bit this morning is let's talk about you first and your entrepreneurial journey and how you got to where you are today. So can you tell us a little bit about you and kind of why you're here today?
As you mentioned, I'm Sean Rucker. I'm the owner of SportBike Chic, and that's a motorcycle apparel line for women, obviously, right? And I've been riding motorcycles since about 2008 or so. Like literally, I woke up one morning and went and bought a motorcycle, and then that was it. I went on YouTube to try to figure out how to ride it, and then slowly got introduced more and more to it. I went back and took the motorcycle safety course again because at the first time I took it, maybe 5 years prior, it was as a wing person for someone else. Someone woke up saying, "Hey, I want to take a motorcycle course. You want to go with me?" Sure, why not? And here I am, 15 or so years later. But somewhere during that whole course of my journey, I had a couple spills myself. Right? So I became more and more cautious and cognizant about what I'm doing when I'm riding, right? When I'm looking at safety gear, how I ride, a lot more focus on that protective aspect of it. And I started looking for pants. I started looking for clothes, and obviously I had jackets, they were okay things that would fit me. But then I really didn't find any pants that were affordable, that could actually fit me. So that was a huge motivating factor. And then also with my purse, right around the same time, I was actually looking for a tank bag, but surely there must be a purse around.
Sure.
How is there not a purse for women? And I recall being at Myrtle Beach one year and trying to get back from Walmart. And I had all this stuff stuffed in my jacket, stuffed in my pockets, these little white bags and my little handlebars trying to get back. And it didn't work out, right? So I'm riding 20 miles an hour, if that, trying to get back to the hotel. And I got so frustrated and so mad. And I got back home and I started experimenting. I'm if there isn't anything out there, I'm gonna make it. And so I got some of my favorite purses, put some magnets in there and try to figure out, is this really going to work? Is this really feasible? And after a few experiments, thank you Granger, some nice magnets, I was able to at least get the proof of concept down. It was okay, it was feasible. And then I took it to someone more professional that could actually make a production copy. And a few years later, this is what we have, our first version of our tank purse. So it's magnetic, and obviously I have plenty of stuff in there, but the flaps fold in, and then you can just wear it as a crossbody, and obviously these are detachable. But all that to say, this journey to entrepreneurship has been quite the interesting ride, because I didn't start out with all the backing, all the funding, or anything like that. I actually worked full-time, and I still work full-time. I had a lot of things going on, and this is just a passion that grew into something else. You become passionate enough about it, and you just figure it out. So with my own savings, with my own figuring out where to get resources from, with my own trying to find the right manufacturers, making sure we have quality products. And I think the biggest challenge was making sure they understood the difference in the size. So because we're such a small portion in the US of the global motorcycle community, someone had to be very intentional about changing the size range. Right? And I wanted my size to be very specific, one to the US market, one to women that have more curves, and obviously anyone could wear it, but at the same time, I know for me, it was more difficult finding things that would fit over my hips and actually still close the right way and just fit feminine. And I don't want to wear men's gear, men's jeans, or even men's jackets. So I was very intentional about actually finding the right people and actually focusing on that part.
Sure.
So with that, I was able to get the website built, get the manufacturers in place, get the assistance as needed, get the social marketing or social media folks in place as needed, find the right marketing folks, and really just experiment. I mean, I was a part of the motorcycle community, so how could I not be able to provide something for them and to them. So I think with the support that I had with some of the folks that were around me, and just really being able to venture out and understand what it took and learn from those mistakes. There were some mistakes made. There were some times when some products didn't come in like I expected. There were times in the early days when the sizes were completely off, and I'm sitting here after I invested all my little money, for my savings or that particular paycheck or whatever the case may be, in that batch, and it went up to smoke. So I'm like, well, now what? I can't do anything with this. Well, I refuse to put it on the market, so you're just kind of stuck. But you learn from that, and you make your requirements, and you build like checkpoints along the way. And I'm a certified project manager as well, and I've done some more Six Sigma training and all this other stuff. So I do value processes. I value checkpoints. I value understanding what you're getting, making sure you have appropriate ideas and concepts in place, and also being able to check before they're sent. I understand, when there's waste involved, and making sure that we try to reduce that waste as much as possible. Because it's a lean organization. It's all e-commerce. So trying to make sure that we have things flowing and as streamlined as possible, that's a pretty big deal. So.
Sean, you're not a fashion designer by trade. You have a whole day job. Can you explain a little bit about that background and then how you got to this point?
Well, I've been in the healthcare industry for about 21 years.
Great.
21 years. I used to fix CT scanners.
Oh, wow.
Then I went into tech support. Then I went into management. Then it was more consulting and project management. And it's just been an interesting journey. And the company I've been with, they've been, it's just such a good company that the thought never really crossed my mind of just venturing out to leave that altogether, because they're passionate about what they do. I'm passionate about, being a support mechanism for them. And I've always said that if I couldn't pick up a scalpel, this is the best way that I can kind of contribute to the motorcycle or to the medical community. And I'm not really interested in being a nurse, but I do appreciate that there are a lot of ones out there, a lot of nurses out there, a lot of doctors out there that are really, trying to help out society. And this is my own little way of actually contributing, being a part of that. But with all that to say, at some point, this passion, this ability to have that creativity, that total autonomy over this particular portion of my life, I think that's been liberating to a degree, and allowed me to venture out, find out who I was a little bit more, gain experience, and gain connections and gain friendships that I didn't really think were going to happen, or I didn't really appreciate or even value. So I think that being able to have that full-time job, have a company that I was able to support and just be around, it allowed me to, actually fund this for one, but still keep my grounding. I still kind of get an idea of who I am and stay who I am, but I can still explore and expand who I am this way.
Sean, a lot of your line has inspiration from military. Can you talk a little bit about your military background and the genesis of the material and the way that your clothing and your equipment are put together?
So I spent 6 years in the Marine Corps, and I appreciate comfort and I appreciate functionality. Right? So when it comes to pants, obviously jeans were one thing. I wanted to make sure, one, you had the abrasion resistance. And I'd heard of Kevlar on the military, obviously with flak jackets. But then the more I was around motorcycle gear, the more I started learning a little bit about, the different ways that Kevlar can be used, right? Or para-aramid fibers. So it can be woven into cottons, and it can be blended into materials, and can be used as a completely second layer. So that's what I ended up doing, because we know about how effective it is at abrasion resistance. I do get asked sometimes, is this the one that's going to stop the bullets? No, it's not going to stop bullets. That's just, it's not going to stop any bullets. But it will certainly help with abrasion resistance should the worst happen, right? Should you have a fall, it will at least give you some protection against that road rash. So when it comes to designing jeans or other pants, yes, the jeans had to come first because that was just the main focus. But then I evolved, and like some of my favorite pants are really just like camo bottoms or camouflage pants. And with that, you take the same style, but you put a motorcycle flair to it, right? So that's the case. These actually have the armor that's installed. They have the nice utility pockets that I love, the utility pockets in the back, and they still have a nice fit to them, right? So they're fit, they're functional, and I think that's the thing, they're just comfortable. So all my gear, before I even think about putting it on the market, I test it out myself. I ride in it, I look at the comfort, I look at how much heat's being produced, if it's really something that's for the season, or how do I best describe this to the consumers that are out there. And these are some of the things that just I love when I look at how to bring the best products to women riders. And with this, again, this is, I want to say 1800D polyester. So with that one, nice abrasion resistance as well. So should it actually fall off the bike, it'll actually it's not going to fall off the bike because there's a lot of protection there, first of all. But if something happens, it's going to actually stay intact pretty good. And that material allows for abrasion resistance as well, and allows for it to just kind of stay intact. So this, I think, just understanding all the things that are possible allowed me to start to consider those into current designs, future designs, and then really look at what's functional and what fits.
That's great. And we'll talk more about the form, the function, and the fashion of what you're doing in future episodes of Chic Shifts. So thanks for joining us today. This is Sean Rucker with me, Randy Lozier, publisher of Motorcycle Powersports News. Look for more episodes on our YouTube channel. Sean, how would folks find more of your story? Where would they go? Can you give us a little plug? What's your website?
My website's www.sportbikechic.com.
Thanks for joining us.